Sakshma Srivastav, and I hope that all of you are doing well. My guest today is the team of one of the biggest Hollywood releases of 2022, Elvis. First up, the man everybody's talking about, Austin Butler. Hi Austin, man of the moment. How are you?
Very well. How are you?
I'm very well. So on behalf of all the Indians who are watching, namaste.
Namaste.
Okay, now I heard you saying in one of your interviews that you're very shy and you don't sing in front of anybody. So from that to actually recording so many of Elvis's tracks and shooting, performing them in front of so many people on set, what was that like?
I thankfully had a long time to slowly chip away at things that were making me very nervous. And I sort of threw myself in the deep end very early on, so by the time that I got there, I was terrified before walking out on stage. But once I was on stage, it actually became some of my favorite days on set because it becomes like this out-of-body experience where you feel the music and you're with the audience, and it just is some of the greatest feelings. I loved it.
I'm sure. Now, Austin, I've followed your work for years, and the one thing I noticed, and which is very, very prominent, is that your voice has sort of permanently changed after all the training you went through for Elvis. I think it's deeper, more mature, finer. So is it like a permanent change that we're going to be witnessing like from now on forever? Or are you just in the aftermath of being in the character for 3 years?
I've been trying to think about that one because I think one quality is I sort of disappeared for a while and wasn't recorded much for years. And so some of the last interviews I was in my mid-20s and now I'm 30, so I think my voice probably naturally is maturing, but I think as well there's little bits that I notice that it becomes like habits in your mouth, you know? You get these muscular habits, and so yeah, I don't know.
But it's a good change. A lot of people are liking it. I saw it all over Twitter and YouTube, so it's a good change. Now, tell me, at what time did you feel that you've gotten the character? Was it somewhere when you were prepping and rehearsing the scenes and lines, or did it, take you to do a few scenes on set with the costume, light, everything to sort of get there?
Yeah, so for me it was doing the first performance, which was 68 Special. Because that was and so I didn't know what was going to happen. And I felt like my career was on the line, my life was on the line, and I was so nervous beforehand. I was in the dressing room before I walked out, and it dawned on me that Elvis, his career was on the line. His life felt like it was on the line. He had the same feeling of nerves, I'm sure, and so when I went out there, I wasn't trying to push all that away. Instead, I just could use that. And when I was on stage and I looked down at the leather on my arms and at the audience and the microphone in my hand, and it was an out-of-body experience because I just felt like I was looking out of his eyes, seeing what he was seeing. But in this moment, as though it was happening for the first time, and it transcended what I thought that would feel like. And from that moment, then even though I didn't sleep much the entire production because I felt the weight of it, but I at that point knew, I know we can get there, so that felt good.
Brilliant. I mean, you did say you sort of put your life on pause for 3 years just for this movie, so you can see that effort, and I can say from this answer of yours that Baz really picked the right person for the job. So great job done. I love the movie, love your performance, and all the best. I hope it touches millions of hearts and that, you get all the praise that you deserve for this.
Thank you so much. It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Same to you.
Good one.
We don't do the business will do you.
Hi, namaste.
Namaste, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm beautiful today.
Great, I can see that. Congratulations on a great movie. Now you play B.B. King. Please tell us about his relationship with Elvis.
So yeah, BB is Elvis's friend and peer at the time, like they're growing up in the 60s, both trying to find their way in music. Elvis is obviously killing it. And in this particular moment, we see BB just basically giving him advice and encouragement and allowing him just to like brush off some of the stress that's going on in his life, and it's really beautiful.
It is beautiful. Very important character to the narrative as well. Now tell me, when you were studying this character, observing him, his videos, B.B. King of course, what are the few mannerisms or gestures of his that were very typical of him that you feel like, oh, I have to get this one right, because if I get this right, I've nailed the character?
Right. I think it's just like there's a certain ease to BB, you know. Like I just think you just have to kind of like lay back and keep your head high and your shoulders back and stomach first.
Really?
It's leading with your belly, you know. That's where all the love is.
Where the love is. Now, I was watching one of your interviews from the BAFTA red carpet where you said that you actually started making off late like playlists for your characters, and you did do that for B.B. King also. Now, as an actor, I wanted to ask you that, how does that help you creatively play the character better?
I think it depends on the character too. For some other roles, it's just more so what that particular character might be listening to, or sometimes it's curated towards what I feel the scene feels like. With BB, it's more so about what BB wanted to sing about, what he wanted to play about, how he was singing about it. And that gave me a better understanding of like what his philosophies on life were, relationships, friendships, hardships, loss, love, all those things, breakups. Then you kind of can apply that to what type of advice would BB give to Elvis in this moment, and how would he give it to him? And that's the most important thing, you know?
That's research at another level. That we can see that in the performance, that it's really, you've done it like from the bottom of it. Now, I wanted to ask you that, of course, you've been a part of great films in the past also, but this is also a big deal. It's a Baz Luhrmann project. Were you ever like too nervous on set, thinking of the scale of the film, the anticipation around it? Like, were you nervous, and did it kind of affect your performance, or were you like pretty chill about it?
I think you look at a set, well, actually I get more excited by the scale of it. There's a version of it where you kind of could come in and go, whoa, I'm in a big movie. But then I was like, whoa, look all these things I can play with. You know, look at how detailed the sets are. Look at the costumes. Look at the wig I have on. Like, it's more toys. Like, would a kid get upset if he walked into Toys R Us? I don't think so. The kid is overjoyed.
I understand. Now, before we go, please recall the most memorable moment from you from the sets of the film.
Most memorable moments. I would say watching Austin do the final scene when he performs Unchained Melody, and when he's in the full prosthetics, and that was mind-blowing.
Now we know what fans have to look forward to, because if this is his most memorable moment, it's gonna be for us too. So thank you for such a wonderful interview, and take care. All the best for the movie, for this one and for many more to come.
Oh, thank you so much. Bye.
Oh.
Hey, Sakshma, how are you?
Namaste.
Namaste.
Nice to meet you. Now, I have to say, the movie that I watched, it was like a beautiful, poetic spectacle. Before any question, I have to say congratulations on creating a masterpiece. What a genius you are.
That's so beautiful. Thank you. I mean, that means the world. You know, I have a deep connection with Indian audiences, and, you know, making this film, sometimes I would think about my dear friend Amitabh Bachchan, and his whole family and what they were going through at the same time, you know? And he knows a lot about being a sort of an original superstar. But the great thing about Amitabh is he's had a long and illustrious career, and he's still to this day. That didn't happen with Elvis.
I was actually heartbroken in that scene when you come to know he was just 42. But speaking of that, Priscilla, Elvis's wife, when she watched the movie, tell us about her reaction to the film.
They have no control over the movie. So she was very worried what I was going to do. And she was very worried whether Austin could even come near it. But I tell you, there was a female security guard crying. I said, what's going on? Because I was on the phone. She said, oh, she's still in there. And then she wrote me a letter. And look, there's so many beautiful things that were said, but the number one thing she said is, honestly, no one's even come near what Austin's achieved. And if my husband was here, he would say, oh, damn, you are me. So, but the other night here, only the other night, Lisa Marie, who's gone through the most painful of times, got up on stage and we didn't even know what she would say. And what she said was maybe one of the most moving things I've ever experienced in this work and in this life. And I see that the family gather around the movie. So somehow I feel like it's a connection point for them. And I think that's just beyond my expectation and imagining.
Coming from the family itself is the actual moment of truth, and if they are happy, that just speaks volume of what a great movie it is.
Well, thank you.
Now, I have to ask you, of course, you're a very humble person, but how proud of you of making this movie? Because it was not an easy job. The scale, the responsibility, the pressure, all of it, but you pulled it off. So, I mean,
well,
where are you mentally with this?
I tell you where I can be really honest about that. I want to see audiences see this in the cinema. I mean, in India, people really do go to the movies. You know, I love those giant cinemas with 2,000 people in them. Yes. But here in America, it's been very hard since the pandemic to get people to go out and brave going into a cinema. And I made this movie for the cinema. So I still have one more hurdle, and that is to get older audiences to get out, and young audiences and family audiences to come together in a cinema and watch a movie. So I'm not going to rest till I've done that.
Oh, of course. I also urge from my side, everybody please go to the theaters and watch it. It releases on the 24th of June. It's a movie made for the big screens. Thank you so much, Baz, for joining us. It was very nice of you to talk about India. I feel so happy.
Oh, no,
and I'm
really,
sure the Indian audience will be happy too.
I miss it. I've been so many times and I'm going to go back.
When are you coming back?
Maybe that's where I'll go to sort of debrief my soul. Maybe.
Looking forward.
Hey,
nice
how
to
are
meet
you? Namaste.
Congratulations on a great film.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm going to start with Alton. I saw you said at the Met Gala and also the press conference of Cannes that, you know, the story is always bigger than you, the movie is bigger than you, so you have to surrender to the story. What did that mean? I was very curious to ask that.
Really just being in it and serving the purpose and the intention behind it, you know, discovering that for yourself. And allowing that to take over you. You know, this story is bigger than us. We were brought here just to serve and pay homage to these people that have opened the door and paved the way for artists like us. When you do research and when you actually watch the movie, you get to see Sister Rosetta Tharpe, who invented rock and roll and discovered Little Richard, who at the time is 22 years old from Macon, Georgia, turning up at Club Handy. And Club Handy being almost like a church for us to release all of tension between religion and spirituality and sexuality and discovering within ourselves what that feels like when we liberate ourselves from all of that. So that's what I meant by that, truly.
It's a beautiful approach, I have to say. Now, Yola, coming to you. For somebody who's been singing almost all her life, what does it mean to play such a foundational figure when it comes to contemporary music, especially rock and roll?
Oh, it's a profound honor. I get to bring Sister Rosetta Tharpe to the general populace, to people who may have never heard about her and never known that she invented rock and roll. And we know that because of segregation that, you know, the story got lost, and then once it was found, it wasn't spread broadly enough. So it just feels really like this profound honor I have of service to Black America, to tell the story of contemporary music, and for all the kids who might be young Black girls who feel drawn to the guitar, but have been made to feel like it's not for them. It's just this wonderful thing to go, it's definitely for you.
Yeah.
And everything in this movie is going to show you exactly how much, because this woman is the alpha and the omega of so much that we take for granted nowadays.
That's perfect. Really, both of you have really pure approaches to your characters. Now, before we go, I have to ask you, the movie got a 12-minute standing ovation at the Cannes Film Festival. That's amazing. Describe that emotion. What did it feel like?
Oh, it was magical. It was like you're on a cloud, like it's a dream come true, because usually when I go to the theater, it's just with my family and friends, and we just are seeing a movie that just came out. But this time it felt different because they're clapping for your cast and you and the work that you guys have done. And like we said, we have to develop a lot of empathy and really tap in to our introspection on our inner worlds to bring light to these characters and this story. So it felt very rewarding.
Great. So all the best to both of you. Congratulations again on a great film. I hope it does well. And all the best for the future.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye.
So that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. And as the director, Baz Luhrmann, said, make sure to watch this movie in the theaters because it's made for the big screen. And I watched it, and trust me, it was a beautiful experience. So make sure you buy the ticket for the 24th of June and watch it in the theater. And of course, let me know who you want me to invite next as my guest on eNow so that I can continue to bring you artists that you love. Take care, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.